What is up, guys? Nate here. Today I am finally done with my exams and I am now on winter break, so hopefully I'll be able to get a little bit more content here for you. But today I have some very exciting news about the El Camino, so let's get right into it. So first of all, I'd like to apologize, but the heaters are on right now. Hopefully they'll go off pretty soon, but we have some very exciting news for the El Camino. Now, as you know, we this winter are going to be doing the Dash. I'm going to be finishing that up soon. After the holidays, we're waiting for, after Christmas, when our guy that's helping us out will be able to come over. And then after that, we're going to be back halving the frame. Well, we're going to be back halving the frame. Now, I originally said we were going to do, probably 12, maybe 13-inch tires in the back, maybe wider. I'd like to do as wide as, that's still drivable and fun. Don't get me wrong, that's drivable and fun, but, it's a little bit much for, something like this. So we decided that instead of having to screw around and back half the frame, we are going to get a whole new chassis from Art and Morrison. I am super pumped about this because, first of all, don't get me wrong, this is a very solid frame. Everything in here is perfectly solid. There's no rust anywhere, at least that we know of. But the problem is that, it's so much more efficient to just get the new frame for the price. And also, really, even though the whole El Camino is completely solid, the rockers and everything, even the quarter panels, everything on this car is solid except for the floors and the dashboard, but you really don't know what's going to be under the frame. And, of course, there is always room for error when you back half a frame. My dad and my uncle that are helping us with this, we back half, or they have back half a bunch of cars, and they know what they're doing, but, there's always room for error. And, of course, why would you not want to get that beautiful thing? And the other thing about it is I think it's on the other page here. You can see it in here on the 55 model that you can get where it has the exhaust cutouts for the frame here. And that is so that you can tuck the exhaust way up there. And that's going to be awesome for this because unfortunately with the Willys, that is a problem that we have. You can see that because it's so low and the frame is like right there, that your exhaust is hanging down, and that's really not that great of a look. But really, unfortunately, unless you want to get a whole new frame for the Willys, there's really nothing you can do about that. But with the El Camino, that is going to be perfect. And like I said, it's just way more, logical to do that. And if you actually get under here, I'm not sure if you can see the frame, but it's completely solid under here. So. For the price, it's a great idea because not only are you then going to have, of course, we're doing a Ford 9-inch in the back. We're going to get the 9-inch, and we already got the gears. There were some spare gears from the Willys. But, you're going to have suspension. You're going to get the tubular A-arms. You're going to get all the suspension that you need, and it's perfect. For the price, this is a much better idea. And also, we can go ahead and sell, this frame and be able to make some money back because when we get the whole vehicle dipped, I'm not going to call it a car, when we get the El Camino dipped, what we're actually going to do is have the body and frame dipped as one huge unit. So after we get the dash done and a couple of the other rust spots, we're going to basically send it as is, once everything is repaired, off to the dipper, and they're going to dip it with even the tires on it and everything. And the tires are actually be fine when they come out. It doesn't affect the rubber. All it does is take the paint right off and all the rust and Bondo. So then once we get it back from there, we're immediately going to come back, take the body off the frame, and then we're going to have a sealant sprayed on the body and the frame. So that way when we go to sell this frame, it's going to be completely stripped, and it's going to be sealed. So, this is absolutely perfect for somebody who's maybe doing a restoration. On a 65, and of course I didn't really realize this, but this is the same frame that's on a 65 Chevelle, El Camino, Malibu, station wagon. These are all the same frames. The only difference is the body. And you'll have to excuse the Pink Panther. I still haven't brought that thing home from the car show, but if you get around here, like I said, that down here you actually have, these are your seat mounts for the back seats on the Chevelle and station wagon. And the reason those are there is because it's still the same frame. And the floor pans are basically the same. So these are actually floor pans. Well, these are for the El Camino, the front floor pans. But the backs are the floor pans for a Chevy Malibu 64 or 65. because again, everything on 64 and 65 are the same except for the bump or the front end, the bumpers, and you know, a little stuff like that. But if you really wanted, I think other than the front end, you could put anything from a 64 onto a 65 and vice versa. But other than the front end, which is more round and it's really flat, I'm personally not a huge fan of the 64. But yeah, so that's our very exciting news for the El Camino, that we're going to be getting a whole new frame and going to be kicking this one off. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with this frame. It's really actually a great frame. You know, this is all just little surface rust, and of course you're going to have this on anything, especially a car from 1965 that's never been torn apart. But I mean, everything is great. Of course, all the bushings are pretty much shot on here, and actually found a funny one when I got under here the other day. You can see the body mounts right here. If I get it up, maybe you can get some better lighting. You can see that this is toast. I mean, I can basically peel it off with my finger. So yeah, the body mounts are toast on here, but you know, and of course also the wheels on here, these are pretty, I guess, I don't want to say really valuable, but you know, I mean, somebody will want these too. I think they're bigger in the back maybe, but they're original rally wheels, and we got all 4 hubcaps with them and the wheels. And of course, once we send it out to get dipped, all the paint on the rims here are all going to get redone. So I mean, it's perfect, you know. I mean, somebody's looking to redo a 65 El Camino, Chevelle, Malibu, you name it, station wagon, whatever. They're gonna have a beautiful frame here to work with, and it's just the best of all worlds, really. Also, with getting a completely new frame, we don't then have to wait on the back half wing. The back halving, we don't have to wait for, you know, the dipping and all that stuff. All we got to basically wait on then is the body. Now, after basically we get the body back, we'll already have the new frame in here, hopefully, and have that sprayed and everything, and that'll be done. And then we can do some fitting here. So, you know, of course, we're going to get our wheels, which we are going with American Racing Torque Thrust. I'm not sure the exact name on the ones I'm looking at, but they're chrome. They're actually kind of, I can't remember the exact name, but they're kind of like a dark chrome. They're not black or anything like that, but they're kind of a darker chrome. They really look nice, and I'm thinking 15s, maybe 16s. You know, I don't want to go too huge, but I feel like if you do 15s all the way around, that's pretty small. But you know, I still want to definitely get sidewall on the back like the Willys here. Maybe not, again, as severe, but you know, I want to get the big Mickey Thompsons on there. That'll look really sweet. And yeah, basically just kind of go with an old school look. And also, when we order the new frame, we'll have to figure out what kind of motor mounts we want. And obviously, we're going with a 454 big block and the 5-speed Tremec. So, and of course, the 4 9-inch then. So yeah, I'm really excited about this, and that also reminds me, looking at it, the other thing we still have to do is fix all of these rust holes up here in the window. My phone won't focus. All these rust holes in the top of the window tray. And I guess this is actually pretty common for the El Camino, is that the dash and also the window trays rusted out pretty bad. And on the back here too, you know, we got a couple spots. And I'm not sure if this stuff right here is Bondo or what it is, but it's everywhere really. You can see right in there. Not sure exactly what that is, but it's almost everywhere. It's actually in the tray up top there. But, you know, I mean, like I said, there's absolutely, as far as we know, there's no Bondo in the car. And the only Bondo that we do have actually, and accident damage, is from when this rear quarter was hit. And this is actually, they had a newer bumper on it, a replaced bumper, because they actually had written on the back 65 Chevelle, which is kind of funny. But it was obviously hit from the back and probably from this corner, because you can see it's pretty crunched up there. And I've showed this on my videos before, but you know, for anybody new, you know, you can see that there. And also, when we went ahead and redid the gas cap, we welded that up. You can see that there's a bit of Bondo right here. And I'm not sure if you can see it exactly, but there is a dent there because that was filled with Bondo. And I think it goes over probably to about here. You can feel it. There's a little bit of a difference there, but I think it's right here. You really can't hear it that much, but yeah, yeah, there's a little bit of Bondo in there. Hopefully not too severe. We'll figure it out when we get it back from the dipper. But other than that little spot there, that's the only Bondo in this car. And the other rust spots we have to do then are the window tray, the front window tray, and now this one here in the, I guess it's the kick panel area or the rocker. We had the exact same thing just like that on the back here. And my uncle did this himself. He was really proud of it. Fixed that up. And yeah, I mean, the rockers under here are completely solid. It's absolutely amazing. But there's one small spot in the kick panel heater area right here. This is going to be fun too, because this metal right here, oh, sorry. This metal right here is really thin. And I believe there's maybe a spot on the bottom. Guess there's a little hole right there, but that's really nothing. Oh yeah, here it is. Underneath. That's where our bigger hole is. This is right on the bottom of the kick panel there. And the reason for that is because these have the kick panel vents. And of course, the genius that designed it back in '65 decided to put the vent intake area right here so that when the wheel kicks up a bunch of mud and dirt, it's going to go right up in there. So that's why that's pretty rusted. I don't think the other side has that issue. No, it's solid on here. And the underside is solid too. There's no rust under there. But yeah, I mean, it really is incredible just how solid this car is. But you know, it's like I said, even when I went ahead and just for fun cleaned up under where the chrome was on the door. I mean, this is beautiful. You know, I mean, the original paint on here. And I know it's probably not too exciting for many people, but still, it's just cool. You know that. I mean, the quality that these things were made with back in the day, and you know, under where your fenders were. I mean, that paint could be buffed out and look better than my daily driver, but it really is kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, other than that, everything with the El Camino is going great, and I'll keep you guys updated on the frame there. But anyway, yeah, and with the wheelies up there, I'll give you a little bit of a garage update. If you guys want to leave now, definitely go ahead and leave a comment on what you guys want to see. But with the wheelies, everything is pretty much the same. When we got up on the lift, we looked, and there are no drips that we could see under here with the master cylinder, which is weird because we were hoping maybe, well, we weren't hoping there was a drip, but we're thinking that maybe there's some air in the line from when, you know, because we were using it, but we're not quite sure. If you guys haven't seen, it's not going into gear, and the clutch isn't working. So, I mean, the pedal, I think, feels fine. Yeah, the pedal feels fine. Of course, I can't really reach it, but we're maybe assuming that there's some air in the line, but not quite sure on that one. We're going to have to take a look at that this winter. And the MG right underneath. Same old sitting here. And it's actually kind of funny because before my grandpa passed away, we took it to a car show, and my uncle drove it there because I took my grandpa in the Camaro, but he noticed that we needed some regular maintenance going on here. And the one thing he said is that there was no transmission fluid in it because you know, it definitely makes quite a bit of noise when you're driving it, and also the rear end. But you know, so we went ahead and we actually filled it up. Kind of cool. There's a hole right under here in the carpet. Not sure if I can get the camera down, but there's actually a dipstick for the manual transmission in here, which is kind of weird. But you know, it's an MG, whatever. But so we went ahead and filled it up. It did actually have a little bit of fluid in it, not much. But sure enough, I came over just a couple days ago, and yep, it's still dripping. It is dripping so bad under here. Actually, I'm gonna go grab a flashlight and I'll show you guys. Alright, so I'm under the MG. Bear with me. I got a flashlight in one hand and my phone in the other. But you can see the exhaust pipe here is just covered in transmission fluid. And the drain plug right there, that's dripping. And the funniest one, I think, if I can get under here, is the speedo cable right there. That is just pouring out transmission fluid. You can see it right up on top here. I don't get it. Everything on this car leaks. You can see it all dripping off the exhaust pipe here. But yeah, everything from the rear end to the transmission to the oil pan, which is, again, also covered in oil. And that is the, I believe it's the rear main seal. And the only way to fix that is to pull the engine out. And we've already pulled this engine out 2 times before, and we're not going to do it again. But I mean, we took the oil pan off one time when we repainted the engine, and we put the original cork seal on, and we put like a ton of silicone on there, and sure enough, as soon as we fired it up, it looked like this. So I don't understand how exactly it happens, but it does. So anyway, you can see under here everything is covered. But yeah, because what was really mad is, made me really mad is because we didn't have the cardboard here before. It was pulled up to get the oil, and there was a huge puddle under there, but I got that cleaned up, moved the oil or the cardboard back. And the rear end here, you can see right there, that's got a drip on it. But, and the other thing was, this is really weird. The gas line here, this is the fuel filter back here, but it always drips right off of the fitting up there, and then drips down. But it's funny because it only happens when you like top the tank off. I don't get it. If you put maybe, 3/4 of a tank in there, or maybe just a little over, as soon as you top it off, that thing starts leaking really bad, which I don't get it. It must just be the weight on the line. That must just be the limit or something, but that's kind of funny. But yeah, anyway, like I said, still not sure on when this is heading out, probably in the summer, but luckily that transmission is not going to be our problem anymore. But anyway, and also with the Camaro, I did want to let you guys know that with the headers, I pretty much decided to do headers, but with the daily driver, if I put the flashlight away, since my daily driver, if you saw my last video, is not looking too good, I'm going to hold off on any mods to the Camaro right now, because if I'm going to be paying, $7 grand on a daily driver, probably going to want to save up for that instead of spending, $1 grand on headers and a tune. So we're going to hold off on anything on the Camaro for right now, but, wait to see what's going on with the Escort first. And I am going to be bringing the Escort down to the shop probably next week, because that's my whole week of winter break. But, I need to have somebody pick me up there while I drop the car off. And what they said is they're going to charge $60 to look at it, which I guess is okay. I'd rather not. But I got to, I'll spend $60 to have it looked at. And what they're going to do is hook it up to the machine. And of course, see if there's any codes, which I don't think there will be, because there's no check engine light. But then they're also going to check the linkage. And I was like, I know what the problem is. I want you to tell me if it's fixable. Well, no, you got to bring it down to $60. And I'm like, okay. So we're going to bring the Escort down and see what they think. And with the Deuce and a half here in Toledo, unfortunately, because that just reminded me about the tire, but if we look out the window, there is no snow. It all melted. We had a good 5 inches out here, I guess. But yeah, it's like 40-something degrees outside right now, so it all melted. But this, I think it's like Christmas Eve, we're supposed to get a light dusting. But I guess next, maybe not this Wednesday, maybe it's the week after, we're supposed to get another 3 to 5 inches, it looks like. So hopefully we'll be able to get the Deuce out, and hopefully get it out, because I really do like doing some videos on that. I know a lot of people love that, and I do too. But the problem is like I said, since we don't keep it here, we only have to take it out on occasions, because also it is a huge pain in the butt to park it in that garage, because you have to pull it up and then back it up. And of course, with all the poles that are in the garage, if you look at my other video, there's tons of poles everywhere, so it takes probably a good 10 minutes to actually pull it out, and another 15 to actually back it back in. So yeah, that's why we don't take the Deuce out a whole lot. So with that being said, hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure to like down below. Also, please subscribe to the channel. You won't want to miss anything on the El Camino. And please comment what you guys want to see, whether it's a video on the Willys, the MG, the Camaro, the El Camino, and also the Deuce and a half. I'm going to set my phone down over here. But I know you guys really want to see a whole lot of videos on the Deuce and a half. And believe me, I want to make them, and because I'm going to be off this whole week, I'm going to try to get this video up, before the weekend. Please let me know if you guys want to see any kind of videos on the Deuce in the garage that I can show you, whether it's something, along the lines of, what kind of modifications we've done to it or something like that. Let me know in the comments, and I will definitely go ahead down to the shop and make a video on it. And also any questions or comments, I'll definitely go ahead and answer them the best I can. So with that being said, hopefully you guys did enjoy. Happy holidays, and I'll see you next time.